Hey YouTubers, it's Charlie. So there's been reports that the Carol Danvers Captain Marvel might be featured in Avengers Age of Ultron and might even be added to the roster by the end of the movie. So this video is going to be a quick breakdown of her origin story in the comics, how they might introduce her in the movies, and my top 5 Captain Marvel stories. The roster is going to be changing between Avengers 2 and Avengers 3 regardless of who they add to the team and who they take away. We're already getting Quicksilver and Scarlet Witch, and there have been so many different team configurations in the comics, not to mention spin-offs like West Coast Avengers, which will probably be a movie at some point too. Marvel has to start cycling characters in and out just to keep the stories fresh. You bring in a new character with a completely unique perspective, and suddenly it's not like the billionth movie to feature a slap fight for an Infinity Gem. Of all the major changes going on behind the scenes, bringing in more female protagonists is another big priority for Marvel. Carol Danvers is just the next person on the list after Black Widow. There have been a couple different versions of the character. First, there was Carol Danvers, the Air Force pilot, then there was Miss Marvel, then Captain Marvel, which is who she is right now. She even just saved Peter Quill's ass in the last Guardians of the Galaxy comic. She can trade blows with Thor and the Hulk, and she has the quick wit of Tony Stark with the soul of Captain America. She was born to be an Avenger even before she got superpowers, and she's currently flying around in space with a cat named Chewie. It's perfect. So here's a breakdown of her origin story in the comics. She was born into a totally normal working class family and had a fairly Lisa Simpson type upbringing, meaning she was way too smart for her family and had a terrible father who did nothing to nurture her abilities. As a way to escape the small town hell closing in on her after high school, she enlisted in the Air Force. She became a pilot, rose to the rank of colonel, then went on to join the CIA and work missions with Ben Grimm and Wolverine before they became superheroes. She even crossed paths with Black Widow when she was still a spy for the Soviet Union. So already you can see how she's crossing paths with people who are already Avengers. After working with the CIA, Danvers got upgraded to NASA, ended up working with Mar-Vell, the Kree Captain Marvel. During a battle with one of his villains, Danvers got exposed to alien radiation from a superweapon. She absorbed some of Mar-Vell, the Kree Captain Marvel's DNA, and got superpowers. Thus she became half Kree, half human. If you remember earlier this year, there was a bunch of Captain Marvel debating going on with Skye just because of the blue alien in Tahiti. Essentially, she got the powers of Superman. That's basically where her power level was. She ended up changing her costume to what a lot of people remember from the comics. Fun fact, Janet Van Dyne, the original Wasp, helped her make it. In the Ant-Man movie that they're making like right now, Janet Van Dyne isn't around for God knows why reason, but Hope Van Dyne, her daughter's in it. That's who Evangeline Lilly's playing. So already you can have like an Ant-Man crossover with that character and Captain Marvel. So moving along, Danvers eventually joined the Avengers after Scarlet Witch left to have babies. I know that sounds weird, but whenever Scarlet Witch came back, she joined West Coast Avengers, which was a new Avengers team started by Hawkeye at the suggestion of the Vision. That's a little bit of a tangent, but there's a rumor that they might be doing a West Coast Avengers movie in a couple years. So Hawkeye isn't going to die in Avengers Age of Ultron, so he'll survive. So he might go on to found that new Avengers team. So you start to see how Marvel can start doing 2 Avengers movies a year, West Coast and one for Classic. Not that they're guaranteed to do that, but it's a possibility. So back to Danvers. She was captured by this alien race called the Brute and given super mega powers and started calling herself binary. Those are the powers that she has right now, like the super crazy powers. After that, she ended up losing her powers, became an alcoholic, got sober, then House of M happened, and shit went down. In that alternate reality, she got repowered as Miss Marvel and realized her full potential. She was basically like Marvel's version of Wonder Woman. It was actually pretty cool. If you remember the first Avengers movie in the Battle of New York, she basically defended New York like they did, only she did it by herself during the Skrull invasion. The past 2 years since X-Men vs. Avengers, she's had her own title called Captain Marvel, where she basically took up the name Captain instead of Miss Marvel at the suggestion of Captain America. But she just went into space just like Iron Man did last year, and she's been crossing paths with the Guardians since then. It's been a lot of fun. She even has a cat named Chewie, like I said before. It's crazy. She's flying around with a cat named Chewie. And when you think about it, she's got the powers and the sass to outmatch Tony Stark any day of the week, so she is a clear choice to be the next big female character in the movies. There are rumors that Marvel's reluctant to give her a cold start, what they're calling a cold start. That just means they're not sure whether they want to give her a low-level cameo, like a soft entry into the Marvel Universe or movie universe, versus like her own solo movie, which I do think that she's strong enough to carry. So if we don't see her in Avengers 2, it's probably just because they're holding her for a bigger movie or her own solo movie. I'll be sure to add updates in future videos about the movies if we learn any new stuff about her. Moving along, here are my top 5 Captain Marvel stories. Number 5, Captain Marvel vs. Jason of Spartax. That's right, that's actually the story that's going on right now in the comics. She basically goes up against Peter Quill's father, who's trying to mine vibranium to fortify the Spartax fleet for this new big war of conquest. Remember I teased, War of Kings could be a potential Guardians 2 story. In this shot right here, you can see her getting ready to take on an entire fleet. I totally love how her hair makes you think of Yondu's fin, which James Gunn got yelled at for excluding from the movie. The whole storyline right now just makes me feel like instead of doing Nova in the Guardians sequel, they might just incorporate Captain Marvel. It would be an opportunity for Chris Pratt to make some sweet-ass Star Wars references, as Danvers' cat is of course named after Chewbacca. I think the only thing preventing that is that the character has a human origin story, so they're probably going to start her off in an Earth-based movie. But moving on, number 4, Earth's Mightiest Heroes. I'm talking about the cartoon, Avengers, Earth's Mightiest Heroes. She debuted in Season 1 as Carol Danvers, the Air Force pilot. They basically did her origin story right out of the comics. So if you want like a really easy intro to the character, just watch the cartoon. She didn't become Miss Marvel until Season 2, but they do a Kree story and everything. The reason I love the cartoon so much is just because they don't get so bogged down with practicality like the movies do. They just jump right into aliens, magic, everything from the comics right away. Then moving on, number 3 is Mighty Avengers. That's basically just a really important story to read in general because supposedly the story for Avengers 2, the movie, is based on that. So it's a good Carol Danvers story and a good story just to get you ready for Avengers Age of Ultron. Next, number 2, War of the Marvels. This was right after Dark Reign and Dark Avengers. Carol Danvers basically kicks the crap out of Moonstone, who has been posing as a fake Miss Marvel with Norman Osborn's Hammer team. But moving along, my number 1 Carol Danvers story, her solo title from last year, from 2013. It was her first title right after X-Men vs. Avengers. It's the storyline where she takes the name Captain Marvel. Most of the artwork on Tumblr you find of Carol Danvers is from that run. All the recent titles she's in are great though, so I'd at least recommend reading all those Captain Marvel comics since X-Men vs. Avengers. So for tomorrow, I'm working on new Legend of Korra and a new Walking Dead video, but if you want me to do another Marvel Q&A, just let me know. Be sure to subscribe to get everything. There's a bunch of Doctor Who coming this weekend. There's a whole bunch of awesome stuff. But right now, click here to learn all about how Marvel might be completely getting rid of origin stories in its movies, and click here to learn all about their Inhumans movie. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you guys tonight. High fives.